As a nation, we are increasingly fearful of crime and concerned about safety. There are already over 4.3 million surveillance cameras in the UK, so it's no surprise that they are becoming commonplace in the nation's schools. Alongside cameras, schools are resorting to a range of security measures, from innovative building design through to metal detectors and sophisticated tracking devices.
If we opened up all the facilities that were available, mums and dads could look how many times their youngster had been to the toilet, what time they went, what they had for lunch, and we haven't gone that far. It sounds a little bit Big Brother that way, but we do use it to provide security and peace of mind for mums and dads and for children.
We could make society completely safe by having cameras in everybody's home and cameras everywhere so people were watched all the time. The trade-off is people's freedom in that. Do we really want a situation where we're utterly safe and utterly watched all the time?
I think CCTV is a good idea because it makes us feel a lot safer and we can be watched and see what goes on.
If you overuse security, then it can get into the wrong hands, and I think that we've kind of gone a bit out of hand with security and stuff.
I think the security is good at our school because we've got all the cameras around everywhere and all the entrances are guarded, and then with the metal detector it's just added security.
I ain't got nothing, honestly. Don't need to check me. But I have to check everyone. Arms up.
There is an argument that we shouldn't be over-vigilant of our nation's children. So are schools getting the level of security right? And what are the benefits and pitfalls of the different approaches?
Tighter security in school is for everyone's benefit. If you ask any parent what the first thing they want from their children's school, it's that their children are safe. And therefore we have a responsibility to make sure that the school environment is safe, but it also has to be safe for everybody who works there.
An unsafe school is a place that a significant proportion of kids won't wish to go and are not concentrating while they're there on learning, but are thinking about their own personal circumstances. So having a safe environment is absolutely critical.
Children need to be protected sometimes from the outside world. I think schools can be a magnet for burglary certainly, and sometimes for people who would do them harm. And I do think we need to get that level of protection right. But the idea that within school you need to protect children from each other all of the time is quite dangerous.
Nevertheless, securing schools has presented opportunities for the private sector.
The market for school security is growing rapidly. It's huge. There's 30-odd thousand schools in the UK. There's the BSF, an academy programme, which I believe is an opportunity that cannot be missed in relation to working out exactly what makes a safe and secure school. What I'm recommending is looking at how do we create a safe environment. We're looking at CCTV, we're looking at physical security as in gates, grills, we're looking at access control.
The government's Academies scheme has provided an opportunity for a range of innovative security measures to be put into practice in schools, and Grace Academy in Solihull is no exception.
We have a responsibility, a duty of care to the parents of, the 1,200 odd youngsters in the building. We want the parents and the community to feel that when those children walk through those gates, they are going to be well looked after in every way possible.
Overseeing the arrangements for security at all three planned Grace Academies is Executive Principal David Wootton.
Goodness me, a lot of the things that we've put in place are not rocket science, but they need to be done to a certain level, to a certain standard for it to work. You start with a very sizable security perimeter fence, security gates, access control gates.
This is the 2.4 metre high fence that we have that surrounds the whole of the academy site. And we have a 20-acre site, and keeping the site secure was a fundamental part of the initial design.
You then have got the piazza, a large open area where youngsters play, so there's no real hiding place, it's clearly visible. And then you've got access control on the doors, and as well as using technology, very important to use people. So we at Solihull have got people there all the time. Whenever the youngsters are exiting or entering, or whenever visitors arrive, it's a combination of technology and people.
We have 32 CCTV cameras across the academy. A number of them are outside, protecting the external face of the building, and also monitoring movement at break time and at lunch times. Additionally, we have cameras inside which are designed to monitor student movements, to make sure that any incident that goes on in the corridors between lesson changes is monitored, and students feel safe because they know that monitoring is happening.
And overarching all the safety elements is the smart card.
The smart card really runs the operational side of the academy. It provides access to the academy through the gates, it provides access to the academy through the door. It's a single entry door into the academy, so we haven't got children entering and exiting all in different places. All the youngsters arrive through the main doors, so we can look at them, we can monitor them, we can make sure they're safe.
In order to provide local security for every classroom, what we have is a proximity card reader on every lock. This prevents students accessing the classrooms without authorisation, but also gives us security in being able to lock down every classroom, every toilet, every office without the need of keys.
I suppose really in terms of security you think of some of the worrying things that really happen, and in terms of Solihull, we've got a lockdown procedure that's brilliant. No one can access any room off a corridor that's got children in unless they have a smart card, and if we move to lockdown then the whole school remains inside their classrooms with their teachers until the signal's given. Now we've never had to use that, hopefully we never have to, but it's a nice procedure to have in place.
A lockdown situation in a school is looking at it from the wrong perspective, if I may say. The reason being that you're locking down the school after the terrible incident has happened. My focus is on stopping the terrible incident happening in the first place. If I was 14, 15 at school and I was told by the head teacher in assembly that we had a new lockdown facility, that would make me quite fearful, I think.
Nevertheless, Grace Academy is convinced of the value of smart cards.
The incidence of bullying has reduced quite significantly, and the incidence of vandalism has reduced to zero virtually. It does mean that youngsters using the smart card have got the security of knowing that staff will know where they are all the time and they'll be able to be there to help. The other one, of course, with the smart card is it controls registration, and instead of registering youngsters in the morning and the afternoon, we actually register youngsters every hour. So we know whether youngsters are late, we know whether youngsters are on time, we know whether they're there or not, so internal truancy and the dangers of safety that go along with that are very, very much reduced.
I think people's fertile imaginations have provided a very good marketing tool to manufacturers of the latest gizmos on the market. People are concerned that children will be abducted when this is really a pretty groundless fear. They're concerned that children themselves can't be trusted to get themselves from A to B. I think there are so many popular concerns about children that all someone has to do is come up with a gizmo and claim that they can deal with it, and they'll find a market for it.
But this route towards a secure school by using highly visible technology is not the only path to follow. And at Faywood Children's Centre in London, Jonathan Lear used award-winning design to meet the learning needs of teachers and pupils.
You're arriving at an open deck, it's got the buggy park, and then you're into the building. And that sequence of arrival is very different to its traditional model of having a large wall, a big fence which is locked down and only open at certain times. People come into this building are coming through a very open environment, and also there's a kind of curiosity value here as well, because you arrive and you think, well, what exactly is this building? And it's not until you get through that lobby, perhaps, you've got an idea it's actually a children's centre for younger learners. You might think, well, maybe this is something else for grown-ups or something else going on. So as a building, it doesn't fit that traditional model. Oh, it looks like a children's centre or a nursery. It doesn't. It's a very different model. So we like to think there's a bit of mystery going on as you approach the building.
We wanted a building that was sheltered from above, so we've got this beautiful roof, but that wasn't sort of bricked in or sort of panels of glass or anything like that. So we wanted the children to be able to feel that it was hot today or cold or windy or wet, all those sorts of things, and that they were able to see what was going on in their community.
We looked at how to approach a nursery and a children's centre very differently to the standard model. The standard model is a bungalow, effectively, in a large grassy site with a 3-metre high fence around it. They wanted a very high fence here. That's a very intimidating environment, not only for someone arriving at the building for the first time, but also for the children to actually be actually taught in and actually play in. And so we've actually taken that model and made the outdoor play environment part of the building itself. So the security fence is actually full height right to the eaves of the building. So in fact, the play areas are no longer external, they're fully covered, which gives the children much greater access to the outdoor environment and improves their health.
The parents are quite reassured because they can walk past at any time and see their children in there. And because of the outdoor environment, it does encourage that sort of independent learning.
You can't catch us!
The way the skin works, because it's actually quite a fine grain to the weave of the mesh, from the inside it looks quite transparent. When from the outside it becomes slightly denser and you see less of activity within the building itself until you get right close up. So it actually has a very subtle effect on transparency. You've got a sense of being secure and a sense of being private, but actually you can actually see out and see the world around you. Once you're in the building, you're in a safe, secure, effectively a safe, secure shed. I mean, this is a very well-designed, light, airy box, but once you're within it, the children and the staff are safe. So therefore, it's all about designing that control as you come in through the front door. Once you're through the control, it's a safe environment. Conventionally, they wanted a 3-metre fence, which would be way above our heads, and then nothing. And of course, that doesn't give you a secure environment. For here, if the play spaces are inside, someone walking by could throw a bottle over the fence, smashes, and therefore the play space can't be used. So the fence all the way to the underside of the building gives you that secure screen. And then working with that screen, at high level, we introduce the lozenges to create a creative, very almost slightly flamboyant, but stimulating external skin, which gives the external expression to the building.
Even at Faywood, some CCTV is still necessary.
The CCTV really just goes around the perimeter of the building, so it only shows us what's going on outside the building. And really the thing that we've used that most for is not so much been us that's used it, is if there's been any incidents in the local community, people have come and asked to use our CCTV to see if there's been anything. So it's not been something that has been important to our operation of this centre sort of thing. It's just an additional layer of security should it be needed.
The security itself is not dominating. You're not aware of the security going on. I think that's the main thing as a designer you're trying for, that the security is in the background and it's not in your face as some kind of dominant aspect of the design. And getting that right, certainly here, the building itself, although it is a very secure building, you wouldn't know that from immediate appearances. It just works in a very indirect way.